Tell me how much you love Garrett.
This much.
What's your name?
Brenden.
And what was your job?
Pack mule, pretty much. I always talk about how much I like training weight, and Garrett was like, long lenses are heavy. The tripods needed to secure those are heavy. Brenden can carry those. And there I was, carrying them.
You ready to go, Brenden?
No.
No?
No.
Let's
But
get
also yes, because it's time to go.
All right, yeah, we gotta go.
What was your role on this project?
I was a videographer for this project up on Disappointment Peak, using a big old telephoto lens to get some shots of the guys traversing.
Dude, carrying heavy packs sucks.
Is it worth it, Brenden?
For Garrett, I hope. For us,
No.
less so.
It was a bit of a struggle getting up here last night, pretty late. Camped, very little sleep.
This is my Garmin InReach. I'm trying to get a GPS signal so I can let Molly, who's my girlfriend and sort of our home-based person, know that we're at the top of Surprise Lake, which is where we're camping. On the way up, we passed two parties who each said they saw multiple bears. So a thin piece of nylon feels like really cash protection against that. On the other hand, here's a bear box, which is where we put all our food and other stuff.
Yeah.
So that's like gonna help a bit, at least.
We got up around 3:34, down at Surprise Lake camping, and then started hiking up here, and we were filling up at one of the streams, and I looked up and saw two eyes in this big form, and I was like, Brenden, I think there's a bear?
So I was like, what? Where? And I was looking at a rock like maybe 50 or 60 feet away. And you were like, no. And I was at a rock about 20 feet away and saw like a fully like 6 to 7 foot long nose to tail bear just sort of saunter out from behind the rock looking at us.
And we just kind of like slowly walked backwards, trying to avoid it, being like, hi, Mr. Bear, it's fine. So that's part of the reason we didn't catch him on Owen. It's the bear's fault. Not because we went up really slow and we were dying.
All right, what are we doing?
We're going through that little hole in the rock to get at this big weakness in the rock so that we can scramble and hike 1,500 more feet or whatever, 1,000 more feet at high altitude to get to our shooting position before sunrise. Or after sunrise, as the case may be. Oh, hi, Kat.
Oh, hi. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Well, here we are.
Garrett's put in a huge number of hours. He's sacrificed a lot socially. He's taken days off of work. He's really committed to this. He also was one of the people putting a lot of the logistics together to get, a team of like 8 or 10 or 12 people to help out filming with everything. And I think everyone was sort of down to suffer for the cause. Everyone was down to lug their camera gear, and people were posted up on top of the ground, on top of the middle Teton, on top of the south Teton, on top of Disappointment. Everyone was on top of a peak. So everyone had to lug a lot of heavy gear up, a lot of vertical feet. And I don't know, I feel like it's kind of rare to find that many people who are willing to like coordinate their suffering that much for one objective.
My favorite part of the day, if I had to pick out of all of them, would probably be the first time we saw Garrett and Thomas on a peak. We missed them on Owen, and we're just waiting around, and then I was just taking a look at the top of the Grand, and all of a sudden Garrett just came out like waving, and I was like, that's them! And that was really exciting. Eyes on Garrett, he's at the top. Yeah, block the wind. He's wearing red. Yay!
It was pretty fun to sort of watching these two guys like really go for it and just watch them. Oh, they're on Owen. Oh, like 2 hours later, they're on top of the Grand. Oh, 2 hours later, on top of the middle. Like, it was really fun. It was a very sort of good bonding experience to be chatting with everybody while we were watching and supporting and setting up shots and keeping tabs on everybody.
Y'all give me a heads up before you guys take out.
Sure will.
I'll give Disappointment and Chris a 1 minute warning, over.
The West Ridge. I don't think. Well, actually, I can see you standing up from here.
I was telling Brenden as we were walking up last night, it's like it is very bizarre that this day's already here. I remember last summer when Garrett and I were roommates, we would just sit in the backyard and he'd kind of daydream and talk about this big project he wanted to do in honor of his friend who passed and how he wanted to do it, and balancing talking about grief and climbing that is like kind of inherently just like a selfish sport, but combining those things to make a project that's really meaningful to him and then to so many other people. I mean, the number of people that signed on just to be there for him is incredible. But just seeing the culmination of all of this work and ideas, and I don't have words. It is very heartwarming and inspiring to see someone put this much time and effort and actually follow through and like get it done and like make something this amazing.
I was at work in like December or January of like 2019, 2020, and I was reading the Rock and Ice in Memoriam page, like climbers we lost this year, and I read about Michelle and her accident on that page, and that one really like stuck out to me because she sounded really wonderful, and she sounded like really full of life and full of energy, and like someone I aspire to be and want to be friends with. And also just like a lot of people who are in those pages are in their 40s or 50s or 30s, and see someone who's only 22 just out of college like really stuck with me and made me sort of sad. And I looked up more about her incident and her, and like read into her blog, and she mentioned climbing the Tetons with Garrett, and I was like, I've got a friend at the Tetons named Garrett. And so we were skinny snoking one day, and I asked him, because he had never brought it up, I was like, hey, I was reading the Rock and Ice like in Memoriam page and mentioned this woman Michelle, like, did you know her? And he said yeah. And when we sort of spent that whole skin up snoking talking about death, because you know one of the reasons I moved out to Jackson was because my dad died 3 years ago, and I just, the first year without him living in Pittsburgh, I always thought of him when I was feeling down. And moving back here, I can think of him when I'm doing cool things that I would want to tell him about. Like the first time I climbed a Teton, I climbed Disappointment with Garrett, and I was talking about my dad on the way up because I was like, I wish he was here and I could like brag about this to him, because he liked skiing and bicycling, but he never went climbing. I know this means a lot to Garrett, and I know that like he told me he told me this story when we were doing Disappointment that first time, of his and Michelle's first time up the Grand, trying to climb the full Exum, starting at midnight with no sleep. We're starting at like 10 p.m. or something, getting trapped in a thunderstorm and like having a 36-hour epic, and how they'd been like, wow, wouldn't it be great to one day do the Grand Traverse in under 36 hours, when it took us 36 hours to climb the Grand the first time. And yeah, I don't know, I think it's, I'm very sad that they didn't get a chance to do that together, and I'm also like very impressed with Garrett for deciding to make that sort of shared dream a reality. I think it's a very beautiful and fitting tribute to Michelle, despite not knowing her. And I really appreciate, Garrett, what you're doing to talk about grief and work through it and like be vulnerable, because it's not easy to do. So good on you. We had someone at the summit today, we were describing the project, and we were talking about how like we were a film crew and there were people in the middle, people on the Grand, people on the South, And the woman we were talking to was like, wow, like she's like the partner of an ex-im guy, so she lives in Valley and knows a lot of people around. She goes, oh, like what's this guy's name who's doing this? Like Garrett Leroy. She goes, wow, he's special in some way. And we're just like, well, like not in the way you're asked, like no, but he's special to us.
She's like, is
That's
he
why we're
missing an
on
arm?
here. Yeah, like he's missing a foot.
Is he blind? I was like, no,
No,
just
he's
very loved.
just a friend.